Welcome to Secret Tech Weapons. This presentation is designed to help you get more organized, to collaborate better with people, to put your life in order, to help with that work-life balance thing that we're all looking for. They're very inexpensive or free tools that you can start using right now to start changing the way you work. I'm Beth Z. I'm your nerdy best friend, and it's my job to share all these kind of tools with people all over the country. I've written 4 books, and I speak to about 80 groups a year to help them get more organized. So thank you for coming to this presentation. Before we really get started, I have a little disclaimer. Alright, here's my disclaimer. These tools you should be able to use at work. You should be able to use in conjunction with whatever you're already doing. However, before you get started and before you start changing a lot of things, I want you to go to your IT department and ask them if this will work in your system. Whether your IT department is an actual department or your 12-year-old daughter, check with the person who's most responsible for the apps and the tools you use, and make sure that these kind of things fit into the overall plan. All right, let's do an experiment. Everybody, hands up. When I count to 3, I want you to reach for the device, the mobile device that's closest to you, and hold it up as fast as you can. Ready? 1, 2, 3. It's been about 5 seconds. And I bet you already have it. Chances are you have it close to you at all times. And I bet that within any given time of day or night, you are no more than 30 seconds from that device. Ponder this for a moment.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Common thought says that the devices that you have within 30 seconds of your person at any given time of day or night are more powerful than the technology they use to put a man on the moon. So as we talk today about all the different ways you can use this technology, I want you to keep in mind that there has never been more technology, more available to consumers than it is to you, that has ever existed in the history of the world. So keep that in mind as we keep going through this. All right, today we're going to be talking about 5 things, 5 major areas. We're going to talk about tools to help you get organized, tools to help you collaborate, tools to help you delegate, tools to help you engage, and finally, tools to help you with email. Before I begin, I know that many of you are going to be taking notes like crazy, but don't worry. We're going to provide a link that has this PowerPoint, but I want to give you this resource as well. I put out a newsletter every week. You're welcome to sign up. It's just texting the word nerd to 66866 and you'll be on the list. Easy breezy. All right, let's get started. I want to talk first about tools that help you get organized. The most organized person I have ever met in my entire life is my manager, Molly, and she uses a tool called Todoist. Now, many of you I know have your different ways of keeping track of all the tasks you need to do. Some of you are using Outlook, Microsoft Outlook. They've got some task management tools in there. Some of you may use Google Calendar. Some of you may use a separate tool, and some of you are probably using paper and pen, which is what I do. Todoist works just like you would think a productivity tool like this does. It helps you make lists. It helps you make lists and sub-lists. It helps you make different lists. You can have work, you can have home, you can have this project, that project. It will also help you group things and share things. You can assign tasks, even in the free version, to other people and follow up and make sure they've been done. Everything can be transparent and you can know when things are getting done. Now, one of the things I like about it the most is that I use Gmail for my email system, and I pretty much live in Gmail, right? That's where most of the tasks that come in end up. And instead of having to take that task, rewrite it somewhere else, I can just very quickly forward that to Todoist. It's actually integrated in there. It's not even a forwarding thing. And immediately it turns that email into a task. I can assign the deadline. I can assign the person who's got to do it, what have you, all from within Gmail without having to switch back and forth. Now, here's a little confession I have. Sometimes I'm not very good at even doing that. So this tool has been a really big lifesaver for me. So YVA does a couple of different things. When I signed up for the service, what it does is it reads my Gmails, all of them, from beginning to end, and finds little things that I've missed and reshares them with me. For example, I get a digest like this every day. This is a note from somebody who says, please provide the number, and are you on the East Coast? Look at all the questions that were buried inside this email. And if you notice, they're highlighted now. So what YVA did was search through that email, found things I probably need to respond to, and made those links, or made those questions actionable links that are actually on a list of things to do. Plus, it assigned a deadline. So there's that one. Here's something. This was a computer problem I had. It said purchase the AppleCare protection plan, which again is a task that I might want to do. I don't want to do it, but that's a different story. This one says, let us know what you learned from Apple. Again, I had a big computer problem and I had to do a lot of research. And it found in somebody's email a request to have more information sent. And then over here it says, give us a call at any other time to do that, and it buried some other questions. Now, some of them are not as good, like this is just kind of the default at the end of the page, but some of them are really helpful in pulling those out. And it's using artificial intelligence to do this, which is kind of weird and kind of makes it uncomfortable. Let's just call it under the hashtag helpful but creepy, and just leave it at that, if you know what I mean. I'm sorry, but your password must contain an uppercase letter, a number, a haiku, a gang sign, a hieroglyph, and the blood of a virgin. And according to our IT department, it now has to be changed at 6:52 a.m. every day. You guys, I know, emails are horrible, and we do a horrible job at them. You do too. If you take nothing else from this presentation, hear me on this. You need a unique, unguessable password for every single site you visit. Let me say it again. A unique, unguessable password for every single site you visit. What's the most common password in the world? You're right. Password is the most common password in the world, followed very closely by 12345. If you're doing something clever like 54321, they're on to you and you need a new system. Here's my philosophy about passwords. You don't have to have the best password management system in the whole world, but you need to be better than most people. You've heard that saying about going hiking in the woods with a friend and you come across a bear. You don't need to know how to run faster than the bear. You need to know how to run faster than your friend. Same kind of thing in the password world. If you get over using passwords, the same password over and over again, and you move to a unique, unguessable password for every single site you visit and a system to save them, you are going to be better off than 80% of the people out there, and you're going to be that much safer. Here's how I manage it. This tool is called LastPass, and what LastPass lets you do is to create one password. They call it the last password you will ever need. One password behind which all other passwords will sit. So as soon as you start using it, sometimes it can sweep through your computer and in a couple minutes spell out every single username and password combo you've ever used on there. Sometimes as you go to sites, and you put in your password, it'll say, hey, why don't we save that? Then once you have a bunch of your passwords in there, it'll say, gosh, these are all duplicates. Let's change them. And then it'll say, these are pathetic. Let's change them. And as soon as you change them and store them in LastPass, you don't have to remember them anymore. So you can let LastPass generate a very complicated password for you that you never have to remember because it's always stored in LastPass as soon as you log in. Not too long ago, I had, again, that huge computer problem, and I had to use somebody else's computer to get into my systems. Because I have LastPass, all I needed to remember was the one password. I logged in, and from there I could open up Dropbox, I can open up my Google, I could open up every single thing I needed to get that presentation done, even though I wasn't at my computer. So within a couple of minutes, I was able to pull everything down, and I didn't have to reset all my passwords, and I didn't have to remember them all. I was able to use LastPass, and because it's secure and hyper secured by all these different technologies, it will protect my identity on that computer, and then I just log out and nothing's saved. Some of you may be wondering, is LastPass safe? And the answer is no. I hate to tell you. No, nothing is safe. If you're online, you're not safe. In the past, oh gosh, I don't even know how many, in 2018 alone, how many hacks we've had. Under Armour, Lord & Taylor, Delta, all these different places have gotten hacked. So there are enough problems out there that you don't need to add your own problems in making sure that you keep a unique, unguessable password. That's the least you can do to protect yourself in this world with all the other things. Another thing you can do, and this is kind of to get you from a B- to a B+ or even an A in terms of grading yourself in password security. Another thing you can do is to set up two-factor authenticators everywhere you can. They're kind of annoying. It's usually a little checkbox that you have with every service you have. It'll say, do you want to use two-factor authentication? And what that means is that every time you go to use a tool, it will send you a code, especially if it hasn't seen the browser before or is a new place. It'll send you a code that you have to put in to make sure that you are who you say you are. Guys, the security with just that little step goes through the roof. Just by making sure you have two devices on you, it expedites or it helps and elevates that security a whole bunch. Let's talk about tools that help you collaborate. Tools that help you collaborate. One of the things that wastes more of our time is trying to coordinate among people to get a project done. Way back in the day with project management, it was a person who had a degree in project management who managed a Gantt chart and kept everybody on track. Nobody knows what a Gantt chart is. Y'all don't use those. Y'all use spreadsheets and little emails with smiley faces to get people to help you. Like you write to someone, hey, have you looked at that yet? I need your sign off before we can get this done, smiley face. And then somebody comes to you and says, why aren't these things done? And you look at the task list where not everybody is done, and your spreadsheet where you're keeping track of things, and you're just like, I don't know. There are lots of tools that help you totally keep track of all the tasks you need and up the transparency. You might have heard of Basecamp. That's one of the big ones. Basecamp was kind of the original in this category that helped you create projects that have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Assign tasks to everyone, give everybody updates, everybody can see what needs to be done. So when the boss comes to you and says, why aren't these things done? You're like, oh, look at our spreadsheet or look at our system. And there it is that you're missing all these pieces and you're having trouble getting info back. Anyway, Trello is my favorite in this category. Not because Basecamp's not good, it's been around for a long time, but Trello is kind of a little bit more user-friendly. So it's made up like a bulletin board, and on the bulletin board are little cards with pieces of information. So when you're going to look at that information, it's very easy to swipe through those cards and see them very quickly, and everything's kind of organized in bits and pieces. Again, everyone gets notified and all the things are put together, but it's kind of easier to keep track. Many of you probably have a scanner on your phone. Scanners are fantastic. What they let you do is you have a piece of paper in front of you, and you need to get that piece of paper scanned, like maybe you've marked it up, you've put a signature on it or something. If you just take a picture of it, it looks like a picture of a piece of paper. But with a scanner, you can snap a picture of that. It'll find the edges of the paper, it'll take out the humpy bumps, it'll take out the shadows, all these kind of different things, and make it look like you ran it through a scanner. Then with a couple of clicks, you can usually turn it into a PDF or a JPEG and send it off as an email attachment from your phone. My favorite scanner, there are tons of them. There's like Genius Scan, Tiny Scanner. Most of them have robust free versions with a paid version of just not very much money, less than $5 a lot of times. Office Lens is a little bit different. So in order to get the full functionality of Office Lens, you have to have somewhere in your world a subscription to Microsoft Office 365. Otherwise, it works just like the other scanners where you take a picture, turn it into a PDF, and send it off. If you have Office 365, you can take a picture of a pile of paper in front of you, and within 2 or 3 clicks, take your finger, put it on your screen in Microsoft Word, and start typing. It will transform that document into an editable document with just a few clicks, and it allows you to immediately start working on the work that's in front of you. You can also save it and work on it in Microsoft Word on your device, on your computer if you want to, but if you're on the go and you just need to take care of that and maybe change a name or modify it, you can do it like that. Now, if you haven't used a translator lately, you've really been missing out. What's happened is that in the world of artificial intelligence, the really big advancements have been made with translation and transcription, like huge advancements. One of my favorites is Microsoft Translator, and what Microsoft Translator has been able to do, both Microsoft Translator and Google Translate and a lot of the others, are just fantastic translator tools, right? You can throw text in there, it'll throw it out in other languages. You can speak into there, it'll speak it out for you in other languages. Microsoft Translator's secret tool is that you can create a chat room, so that I can enter a chat room as Beth, who speaks English, and then somebody else can enter the chat room as Maria, who speaks Spanish. And when I speak, on Maria's screen in Spanish will appear the words that I spoke in English. And you can have, is it 100 or dozens and dozens or 500 people? I don't know. Everybody speaking, all these different people speaking different languages, and they can see it on their screens in their own language. Microsoft Translator also has a garage project that works on PCs with Microsoft PowerPoint that lets you do a plugin that will simultaneously give you captioned tools across the PowerPoint while you're speaking, but also allows people to sign into that chat room and hear it in their own language. So you can do it for hearing impaired, you can do it for an audience who's primarily one language when you're speaking another, or you can have everybody interacting on their own. But Google Translate has a secret weapon, and that's what's been playing on the screen. Let me show you.
Okay, here we go. Testing. 1, 2. 1, 2. And flip it. No.
Para bailar la bamba, se necesita una poca de gracia con empatía, arriba y arriba, por mi cerebro. Yo no soy marinero,
Up, up, down.
Where was this in high school French? Come on, it's so cool that they're able to do these things now, and you can do them too. Another time waster for you is trying to find a time to meet. When you're trying to schedule a meeting with somebody, you can go back 5, 6, 10 times. When can you meet? I can't meet then, blah, 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 blah. Artificial intelligence is again helping in this area. And here's just one of the tools in this category. It's called X.AI. Again, not an award-winning name, but here's what it does. Let's say you meet somebody in an event and she comes up to you and says, "It was nice to meet you. I'd like to get together to continue our conversation. Can we have coffee?" You write back and you say, "Sure." And you'll copy a person named Amy and say, "Amy, can you find a time for us to meet?" Here's the kicker. Amy doesn't exist. Amy is 100% artificial intelligence, and Amy can read in natural language, can have access to your calendar, can understand the rules you like for setting up meetings, and can keep track and go back and forth for you. So Amy writes to Mary and says, "Happy to get something on the calendar. Do any of these times work?" Mary, not knowing Amy doesn't exist, writes back in natural language and says, "Amy, mornings are not so good, so 11 a.m. slots are out. 4 p.m. I can do. Thanks, Mayor." They're close now. So Amy writes back to Mary, confirms the information, and then sends out an invitation to everybody. Yeah, again, hashtag helpful but creepy. Here's one that I've grown to love. It's called Voicera. Voicera is a tool that will let you record your meetings when you're having meetings with other people and do some really cool things with it using artificial intelligence that'll give you insight into that meeting and let you share notes and get actionable items. So when I first found this, I grabbed my husband at first thing in the morning and I said, "I would like to interview you to see how this works." So we just did a regular interview, and Voicera, the tool is called Eva inside there. So you invite Eva either to a teleconference and you can put in all those codes and she'll dial it for you, or you can just call her and she will record once you get started calling her. So with DJ, my husband, I called Voicera, Eva, and put the phone on the desk in speaker mode and just had us talk, right? So the first thing is it records the whole thing.
Questions about student loans and how things are going. So tell me a little bit about your business first.
So DJ is a student loan lawyer, and I just asked him to talk about his business. So it recorded the whole thing, right? Then one of the things I like about it the most is it creates these insights into what's happening. We asked 44 questions in there. There were 32 numbers mentioned. Action items were 18. Strong reactions, where someone said, "Amazing, I'm worried." Commitments, when people said, "I'm going to do something," and points of contention, when people said, but wait a minute, and things like that. But what I love the most is it creates a word cloud. It looks at all the words that were said and helps people understand what the bulk of the conversation was about. And every single one of these words in the word cloud is searchable. So you see here the word mortgage. When I click on the word mortgage, every single time mortgage was mentioned, it puts the clip.
You also have credit card debt, you have mortgage debt, you have vehicle debt. And so it's not just one ice.
So it works on all these different topics, but you can also, and I love this, you can search for a certain term. It does take a couple of seconds, but if I wanted to search for any time he used the word grandparent when he was talking about loans,
And I've even seen it where, grandparents have taken out student loans for others.
You can see here it's kind of rated to see how strong the likelihood that it's going to be that word, or if it might have made a mistake. But anyway, you can very quickly go through the transcript. Now, it doesn't actually send you a transcript in this case. That's kind of a higher level service that it's offering, and it's not available to everybody right now. But chances are that it's going to change, so maybe if you go check on it now, they may have it for everybody. I don't know. And their pricing is very moderate. So this is something that you can use to keep track of your meetings so easily. Another one of my favorite collaboration tools is Zoom. So what Zoom lets you do, it's an HD video conferencing tool that is incredibly efficient and incredibly well priced. You've used WebEx, you've used GoToMeeting, all of these things. I'm in love with Zoom. Zoom will let you, watch this, start with video, and in a matter of seconds, I'm actually broadcasting. Now, my connection here is not very strong, but still it's HD video conferencing. And if you were to join, like many of these, we're going to have the people across the screen in gallery mode. You can make it so that the person who is speaking has a big head. Doesn't the person who's speaking always have a big head? What I like too is you can do the chat. You can record it, even in the free versions. You can assign someone to do closed captioning, which is very helpful. You can do a breakout room. So let's say you have a committee meeting and everybody has to go and talk about their little things and come back. You can have the breakout meetings during the big meeting. And then you can invite people, all that kind of stuff. I found it to be incredibly robust. When I am in the middle of nowhere, I've been able to join meetings and have a strong connection. Zoom is free for up to 100 people for up to meetings of 40 minutes, which means, get this, so you go to your team and you say, we're going to save a little money, we're going to use this new free tool, and now all of our meetings will only be 35 minutes. You will be the hero. But in addition to that, it's about $100 a year for the full version, which will let you have tons of people joining and for as long as you want. And if you're just doing one-on-one meetings, it can be, it's 100% free. So you can also share your screen. You can even share, it's Apple products only, but you can share your iPad and your phone and show what's on those screens. You can do whiteboard, all those kind of things that you can do with other tools, but it's just so easy to use. Let's talk about tools that'll help you delegate some of your projects and work to other people. But before we get too far, let me ask you something. On a scale of 1 to 10, how cute is this bag? You're right, it's a 10. Listen, I used to carry around a big black suitcase like everybody else for a briefcase, and I needed something that had wheels so I could carry it through an airport easier. I needed something that was attractive yet feminine. I needed something that fit underneath a seat in an airplane. I needed something that was TSA friendly. I had more characteristics that I wanted in a bag than I wanted in a man when I was dating. As the man thing went on, I was like, never gonna find that. That's not gonna happen. I was left with male? Question mark. And then I found him. Woohoo! But I wasn't gonna settle on the bag. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't find this bag. I used a tool called Fancy Hands, and Fancy Hands is actually less a tool than a service. It's a group of freelancers who are US based who do small tasks for about $5 to $6 a piece. So you get a subscription and you start with 5 tasks a month, and they're little things like find me this bag. So I sent a list of characteristics I wanted because I knew if I got started in there it would take me forever. And within an hour somebody wrote me back with 3 different links of different choices, and I bought that one. I was in Portland Airport, and I had just gotten off the plane, and I looked at my itinerary and I said, wow, the place I'm going is like an hour and 15 minutes away. It's in the middle of nowhere. I have a fast turnaround, and I knew if I got out there, it would be tough to get back in. So I decided to rent a car. Instead of running around to all the car dealership places, car rental places, I texted Fancy Hands as soon as I got off the plane and said, find me a one-day car rental at the best price from this airport that's actually in the airport so I don't have to travel all over. By the time I got down to baggage claim, I had a text message with the name of the car rental company and the best price. I went up to the counter. I said, we found this price online. They said, we'll honor it. Bam. Easy breezy. I left a charger in a hotel in Branson, Missouri. You know how long it took to get that back and how much work? It was 5 phone calls over 3 days. And I didn't make those phone calls and take time out of my schedule. I gave it to Fancy Hands. It's little things. It's find that logo I need online. It's, call my hair place and make an appointment. Little things that it can do for you. I need 5 reams of canary yellow cardstock paper this afternoon. You don't have to run around and do it. Have them call so you know where it is and you can go get it. It's just one of those tools that as a professional, it's really saved my bacon several times. Speaking of bacon and sausage and milk and eggs and all the things you need for your household, this, parents tell me, is one of their favorite tools for bringing the family together. It's called Cozy, and it's a family-friendly organizer. And what it lets you do is create calendars for every member of the family so that everybody knows, hey, soccer practice is here, mom's leaving town here, all these different things. Plus, it has like common grocery lists. So you can put everything on a grocery list, and people, like if they're running around or something, if they cross it off because they picked it up, then you won't duplicate the efforts or have to keep going back and forth. I'm joking. You're the only one who runs around buying groceries. I realize that. But if other people were to help, they would have that coordination. You can do chores and that kind of thing. People tell me that the free version is what they mostly use, and it meets their needs, and it's very, very helpful. This is helpful. You can delegate your math work. Oh my gosh, Google Sheets is a lifesaver. Watch this. Here we are in Google Sheets. It's a spreadsheet program, just a lot like Microsoft Excel. But what Google has done is implanted that artificial intelligence into here. So it helps you really very quickly think about and analyze data that you ordinarily wouldn't do. For example, all right, this is like a list of engagements I had in 2016. I just put some dummy data in here so it looks like all of them were on the first, the month is right, but I just put them all on one date or whatever. So looking at this, I might want to know, hey, what were my top 5 states? Literally, before I found Google Sheets, I would sort by state and then count. Not very scientific, but Google Sheets lets me do it automatically. So down here in the corner, you can see the Explore button. When I click on the Explore button, what happens is it comes up with that artificial intelligence. Then you can ask in natural language what you want to know. So I can say, top 5 states. Click. Ta-da! It put all of the top 5 states in order for me. And so I didn't have to go count. I didn't have to do that. If I wanted to, I could see the formula and try to figure out how to do it myself, but why would I? It's right there. Plus, it automatically creates a chart that you can insert, and the chart will automatically be updated if I add more information. One of the other cool things about Google Sheets is that it changes based on what data I put in there. So in this one, it understands that I might look for a count of something or things like that. But if I were to get different kind of data in here, it would act differently. If you look here, it's now added in 2018, it added a pivot table. Heck, I never used a pivot table when I had to do them myself, but it automatically did a pivot table or a number of pivot tables that it thought that I might want to be using. And this is other things other information it said maybe she'll want to know. Let's delegate a little bit more of the math so you don't have to do it. This is photo math. Photo math is crazy. So you can handwrite problems or type problems or whatever, and you can use photo math to scroll over that problem and it'll solve it on the screen. Let me show you. You just scroll over it and on the screen it'll show you how to solve the problem. All right, I got a little exercise for you. Let's find a nerd. How many of you have, during the time that we've been engaging and looking at all this stuff, and you've probably learned a lot, you probably have been writing some notes, but how many of you couldn't resist and you reached over and you've checked your phone for email, voicemail, Facebook, what have you? You couldn't resist. I would bet that at least 60% of you have checked your phone. Yeah, that's just what we do nowadays. Now, some of you are checking it out of habit, and some of you are popping back and forth and checking things because you're waiting for something to happen. Maybe you're waiting for something to be signed, or you're having a conversation with somebody where they're waiting on your action. And it's kind of hard to pay attention in this session because your mind's kind of elsewhere. I'm going to try to give you a tool that'll help you maybe set up some recipes that work behind the scenes so that you can focus on where we are. This tool is called IFTTT. I know, crazy name, but it's if this then that. And it's a multi-app automator. And by that, I mean that it sets up tiny little recipes that work behind the scenes so that you don't always have to do everything that is on your task list. You can automate some things. So for example, if I change my Facebook picture, change my Twitter picture. If somebody tags me on Facebook in a picture, save that picture in Dropbox. If I get an attachment in my email, automatically save that. If this happens, then that happens. If it's going to rain tomorrow, send me a text message at 7 a.m. All these little things that you do repeatedly every day, see if you can offload those with some workflows through IFTTT. IFTTT is 100% free. The groups that want to connect with it pay for the right to do it. So they're not charging you, they're charging the groups. So Domino's has one. Get this. You can set it up so that when Domino's is coming down your street or on the way to the house, you can turn on the Philips Hue light bulb that's on your front porch. And what the heck? Play a little Barry Manilow on your Alexa because that's the kind of evening you're going to have. Yeah, a lot of fun. It sets up these recipes so that you don't have to do everything all the time. So for those of you who are sitting there checking things back and forth, you can make it so that you can set up a tiny recipe that says, every time I get an email from my boss, notify me in a different way. Or regarding this conversation, I really need to pay attention to it. So everything else I can ignore, but this will come forward. There are so many different apps and things that connect to IFTTT that I recommend you just go there and check it out. Like if you use Dropbox and see how many connections. Oh, I am so sorry. I will edit this out, I think. This is, I forgot. This is my new phone. This is my new person. I keep forgetting to turn it off. Hold on just a second. Let me answer. I'm sorry. Hello? This is someone saying, pretend this is a real phone call and get yourself out of this meeting. Because about 30 seconds ago, I pressed a button on my watch that said, get me out of this meeting. And thanks to IFTTT, my phone rang in no time at all, and I could be like, oh, this is important. I have to go and take this because it's very important. I'll be back, never, turns out. Yeah. You're welcome. That'll come in very helpful. Here's a couple more of my very favorite tools for delegating things. Watch this. How cool is that? I don't know what to do with it, but it only cost me $5. How about this one? I use it every Halloween. I made it once for $5 and I keep using it. This tool is one of my favorites. It's called Fiverr. Get it? $5, a Fiverr. And it is thousands of freelancers who do all kinds of things starting at about $5. Now it's starting at about $5. It's not all about $5. So the two things I did before were about $5, but these things, hand-done cartoons of myself, were $10 for color, and she charged $15 if it had a prop. So I ended up doing several $100s worth of little figures for these that I use all over the place. Problem with Fiverr is that you're only paying $5, guys. So your expectations kind of have to be pretty low. So with these, when I have something important, I go in with like the same description for a whole bunch of different providers. And then I figure out which one does the best and then work with them on more advanced programs. So this was the winner. These, not so much. I'll let those sink in for a second, but I'm sorry, this one is just cruel. Now let's talk a minute about tools that'll help you engage. Tools that'll help you really capture people's attention. One of my favorite tools for making graphics, quick things for social media, quick flyers and things like that is Canva. Now there are several, you can see several different tools that I use on a regular basis, but Canva is definitely my favorite. Let me show you how it works. So here we have Canva, and like you can see, it's dozens and dozens of template categories, and inside each are dozens and dozens and dozens of templates that are customized and already designed. So let's say you wanted to do a social media post. I'm going to click here. The traditional one, there are all these social media posts for Twitter already done, Square, but mostly Square is what I do. So I'm going to click on the social media post. And when this comes up, you've got hundreds, thousands, I don't know, of different already laid out templates that you can click on. So let's say you wanted to do something fun like, this is kind of cool. Say you're doing a quote. If you see the crosshatches there, that's one of the ways Canva makes its money, because if I were to use this picture, it would cost me $1 to use the stock photography. But if you use your own, it's free. So let me go over here. I've got a bunch of uploads. Oh, I look cute in this one. There we go. Let me paste it. And all of a sudden, now it is free. So I can bring in any of my own images and put them there. Now, if you see, it kind of changed it. It's in a different spot, so I can crop it and move it down, right? And check mark there. And then it automatically applied the filter that was being used in this graphic. So I can change it and do my own filter or no filter or what have you. Then I can come down here. I can even change the color of the box. You see here, it's yellow. I can change it to orange, of course. And I can change, it's got this little bar. I can change that color. I can change, see it changed it there. And then of course I can change the text. Nerds are childhood playmates who become lifelong friends. More or less, we don't really have any friends now, do we? Or we didn't. Anyway, you can make this very quickly, then you download it. And when you download it, you can do it in all the formats that you think, like PDF, JPEG, PNG, whatever you need it to be, you can download it and use it where you are. And again, this is 100% free. Now, if you're in a company that has branding requirements and things like that, your company can sign up for Canva for Work and lock down those brands, lock down that logo, lock down the colors and the fonts you use, and give you those resources to make everything look the same. But I use the free version. Here's another tool I love. It's called Crystal. Crystal is creepy, but you talk about having the resources to engage, this is what it is. So Crystal uses social media and writing little snippets to analyze and categorize your contacts into personality profiles. It uses the DISC category, the DISC assessment to put them into one of 64 personality profiles. This is me. I'm decisive, forward-thinking, and spontaneous with a natural aversion to rigid structure. Read, I can't hold a real job. What comes naturally to me? Rallying enthusiasm, quick decision-making, charisma, creative thinking. All these things it got from my social media presence as well as some of my writing. When talking to me, use expressive language. Use your humor. What motivates me is social interaction. What drains me is nitpicking. And in a meeting with you, cast an exciting vision. Allow time for brainstorming. Avoid too much formality. That fits totally. I was blown away the first time I pulled this up and it found those characteristics. And again, this is based on my social media profile as well as some of the insights it got from my email and things like that, which is again, #helpful but creepy. If you recall what happened with Facebook and Cambridge Analytica, this is the same kind of thing where Cambridge Analytica used personality profiles based on social media posts to do micro-targeting to people on Facebook in ads. And they used the data from Facebook that they obtained legally at the time. I'm not going to get into that, but it's the same kind of concept. Now, you might say, this is too creepy for you and you might not need it, but watch this. This is my friend, Troy Malone. We worked together for a long time. He hired me, and when I worked there, I just didn't feel like I was doing a good job for him. I felt like I was disappointing him. But look at his profile. He prioritizes achievement, pursues goals aggressively and methodically, and doesn't like it when someone makes a decision on his behalf. It comes naturally to him to do critical thinking, persuasion. He's comfortable with conflict and enjoys productive argument. I am never comfortable with conflict. You can count on him to speak up and offer constructive criticism. Doesn't go well over here. Don't take it personally when he says something bluntly and be direct if you need something from him. I take it personally every single time. So it is reasonable to assume that our personalities were the thing that kept us from being a great team. What motivates him? Introducing new challenges. His personality is just fundamentally different from mine. What drains him? Personal question, displays of emotion. If you recall, I'm all emotion. Over-planning, lack of accountability, avoid unnecessary chatter in meetings. Are you kidding me? That's all I am. So if we had known this, Troy knows that I talk about him in these presentations and use him as an example because I sent him this. Once I looked him up and found this, I sent him this and I said, first, is this you? And he said, yeah. And then I said, look at me compared to you. And he just went, just like I did, aha, no wonder we didn't have the synergy that we thought we would. No wonder we didn't have the productivity. We were just fundamentally different. And if I may say so, it's not that I was a bad employee. It's just that fundamentally, Troy is a bad person. Just kidding, Troy. Thanks for letting me use you again. People love this tool. It's called Slide Dial. Engaging is fun, but if you engage too much, it wastes all your time. So Slide Dial lets you dial straight to voicemail. This is for when you have like 6 people to call in an afternoon, you want to get out of there, and Lord help you, you don't want any of them to answer the phone. So Slide Dial lets you go and it goes straight to voicemail, and they'll be like, oh, I was sitting right here. I don't know why I didn't get your call. And you're like, that is very curious. Well, I'm glad you got the message. Bye. Yeah, very helpful. One of the things about engaging is that we have to keep engaging. We have to keep thanking people. We have to keep connecting with people. And here are some of my favorite ways. These are pieces of mail, hard copy mail that you can create from your phone in a flash to start recognizing people and connecting with people. Postagram lets you take a picture from your phone, write a little note, put your address on there, and within 3 to 5 days after you make it, it will appear in their mailbox. Plus, it's got this punch outable section that lets them save the picture if they want to. A thank you note is going to sit on their desk for maybe a couple of days, but if you send them a picture of themselves, they're going to keep it. This one is called Felt. And what Felt is, it's a little bit different. It's like you can have up to 4 pictures in an accordion setup. Again, you send them pictures of themselves or celebrate them, it's going to go on their desk and stay around for a little while. You can type notes. You can even make it look like you hand wrote things, but I always feel drunk when I do that. And you can get a subscription for less than $10 a month where you can get 3 of these mailed automatically. Or not automatically, you have to do them, but you get the address. This next one I consider kind of a special occasion thing, but it's just so elegant. It's called Mosaic, and what you do is you pick out 10 or 20 pictures from your phone, and they come up in these big full color. These are these are my cats, copy and paste. Indeed. But they come up full color, and they let you very quickly make a beautiful book. It comes in this mosaic format, but the box itself is very elegant. And I like that so much because that kind of just gives an extra piece to this and makes it extra special. But it's in the 20s, mailed. And then finally we have these two. So you may have heard of Groovebook. Groovebook was on Shark Tank. So was Felt, by the way. Groovebook was on Shark Tank, and they sold to Shutterfly, and they made a ton of money. But Groovebook lets you take 100 pictures every month from your phone, and it'll print a book of 100 pictures, 4x6, that are perforated in these cute little savable albums, mailed $2.99. Kind of sounds crazy. They're just not very high quality. And so I love them for grandparents and aunts and people from far away, and just keep track of all the pictures you take of the kids or whatever. But I wouldn't really use them for work. But I love Chatbooks. So Chatbooks is $8 for softcover every month, or I think it's $14 for hardcover. And Chatbooks lets you take, I think, 60 pictures from your phone. Full color again. This is an album of me. I created a catalog of me. But anyway, so this is a custom book, but in Chatbooks, it'll have on the side a record of when that was done. It's just a great way to keep a record of all the things that are happening at work. One of the best things that has ever happened to us as professionals is that we can get email on our phone. One of the worst things that has ever happened to us as professionals is that we can get email on our phone. But luckily, there are some tools that'll help us manage the email that's coming in. Here's a simple one. There's a difference in the email world between spam and bacon. 49% of the emails that come in for most professionals are spam. Spam is anything you don't want, whether it's from a Nigerian prince or it's from a legislative update that you no longer need. It's anything that clogs up your inbox that you don't want. Bacon is a category of things that you want, but you can't have all the time because it clogs you up, just like real bacon. So it's the notifications from social media that you'd like to see, or it's the newsletters that you really like, or the sale flyers, or what have you, but you can't have them all the time, and you end up just deleting them all because they just sit there. Unroll.me will let you give it access to your web-based email system. It goes through all of them at the same time and gets out all the subscriptions, puts them in a row, and then it'll say, do you want to unsubscribe? And you can just push a button for one click, opt out or unsubscribe. And then you can decide whether you want them to keep coming in regularly like you have already, or you want to put them in a digest and have them come once a day. So if you put them in a digest, at the end of the day, I think it's the end of the day every day, you get all of the emails in one. So you can see all your notifications, you can see the newsletters you want, and then very quickly you can scan the whole thing, determine if you want to read it, what have you. They're still saved in your inbox, all the original emails, but this they won't show. They'll automatically be archived, and the rest of them will just be in this format that you can quickly glance through. The problem with email is that many of us get our new phones or what have you, and it'll say set up email, and you press the button to set up email, and it sets it up on the default email system that's on your phone. The problem is that many third-party vendors for email are a lot better at managing email than the default ones. For example, believe it or not, Microsoft Outlook app is fantastic. It's not the default on any of the phones. And Microsoft Outlook has been around for years, but the app is a tool that was eaten up by Microsoft. It was one of the best ones out there. I forgot its name. Doesn't matter anymore because it's gone. But now the Microsoft Outlook email app is fantastic. And these are the tools that will let you swipe to get rid of some immediately, to archive them, to send them back to yourself later. All these different things. Now, Astro and SaneBox and some of the new ones are applying artificial intelligence again to do even more. Watch this.
Your inbox is probably overwhelming. Let's be honest, most of us don't enjoy dealing with it. That's why we built Astro, to help separate the signal from the inbox noise. Astro's email apps are full of features, like snooze, open tracking, and send later. But we didn't stop there. To end inbox overload, we brought artificial intelligence to email. Meet Astrobot, your new AI-powered assistant. Within seconds, Astrobot helps you clean your inbox and stay on top of things throughout the day. Plus, Astrobot is learning new skills and moving to new places. Now it can help you conquer your email in Slack. And this is just the beginning. We're on a mission to help you focus on what's most important. 3, 2, 1. Your inbox just got smarter.
I've been using Astro for several months now, and it's very Mac heavy at this point, but they're bringing in other formats. And I love it. It does help me organize, but it's a little judgy, right? It'll say things like, oh, you haven't opened up your Twitter notifications in a long time. Do you want to just archive those automatically? Yeah, that's a great idea. So it's proactive in helping me organize. But then it'll say, you haven't opened up a Weight Watchers newsletter. Do you want to unsubscribe? No. I am on it. Just haven't gotten around to all of them yet. Judgy. But anyway, it recognizes what you're doing, it recognizes what you might need, and it helps you organize your inbox. This is not email, this is real mail. One of the things that happens to us as professionals is that we can get control of some of the things that are happening at work, and we go home and our kitchen table is gone because of all these subscriptions we ended up on, and we got all these catalogs coming in. I love Paper Karma. Paper Karma lets you go around snapping pictures of the addresses and the magazines that are coming into your house, or the catalogs and things. And then with a couple of clicks, Paper Karma submits your name to be removed from their lists. Yeah. So my mom was a gardener supply service addict, right? She had tons of them around the house. And when she died, my dad went around the house using Paper Karma, and he got rid of all of them. Now he calls me up and he says, I never get any mail. Well, why do you think that is? So you may want to keep some. Here we are. You've watched the entire presentation. I'm giving you a lot of ideas, but I need you to stop focusing on everything and narrow it down. And I want to know, what is the answer to this question for you? The app I need most is what? Because I want to what? After we finish, take a minute to physically write this out, type it on your phone, whatever you need to do to focus on one thing that you can take away and start using right now. Sorry, folks, I have something to announce.
Our nerdy time is through, but Beth Z is always here for you. Your nerdybestfriend.com.
I got my own jingle for $5. Thank you guys for everything, and let me know if you have any questions.